Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be taking a look at the cornerbacks the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had an official interview with at the NFL Combine. There are 4 cornerbacks to talk about in today's video. The first one we're going to be discussing is Georgia cornerback Kamari Lasser. Now, I will say this was before the Bucs. What am I trying to say here? This was before the Bucs traded Carlton Davis to the Lions, so important to note there. The Bucs are looking at a lot of cornerbacks, by the way, so maybe they had some type of trade for Carlton Davis in their mind. A lot of informal interviews. We're not going to talk about those today, maybe in a separate video. But taking a look at Kamari Lasser, 5'11", 5'11.5", 186 pounds, is graded to eventually be a plus starter in the NFL coming out of Georgia. I want to take a look at where he is at on the Pro Football Focus list. He's number 37. So is a guy that would be in the Bucs range in the first round, certainly not in the second round. Do the Bucs take a cornerback in round 1? You do have a need at cornerback now after the departure of Carlton Davis. The last time the Bucs spent a first-round draft pick at cornerback in the Jason Light era was Vernon Hargreaves, so it didn't go well. But I like Lassiter. I like what he brings. Again, Georgia, it can be anybody from Georgia, and I'm going to say, well, they are prepared for the NFL. Gets comparisons to DeAndre Baker. Whenever you look at this guy and his overall athleticism and his coverage ability in just anything you want in a starting caliber corner, Kamari Lasseter's got all of that. There's a reason he's ranked 37th on the Pro Football Focus big board, is because this dude can be a starting cornerback in this league. I think a combination of him, well, let's say Jamel Dean's your cornerback 1, Kamari Lasseter's your cornerback 2, and then Zion McCollum's your cornerback 3, or maybe even have Kamari Lasser your starting slot, maybe? Something along those lines? I don't know. It would be a good group of corners. The one thing I want to say, though, is would the Bucs spend an early round draft pick on a cornerback? That's a big question, because you have interior offensive line that is a bigger need, in my opinion. You have edge rusher that is a bigger need, in my opinion. So that would be the biggest thing, I think, from preventing the Bucs from being seriously interested in Kamari Lasseter here. But you never know. You never know. There could be a surprise there. The Bucs have not been shy to spend early round draft picks on players in the past. Maybe they would consider that. The next player we have is Andrew Phillips out of Kentucky, 5'11", 190 pounds. I'm curious to see where Mr. Andrew Phillips comes in, number 82. So he'd be a third-round draft pick kind of player, graded out well according to Pro Football Focus. The Bucs have 2 third-round draft picks, ran a 4.48 40-yard dash, a 1.51 10-yard split, 42-inch vertical jump, and 11-foot 3-inch broad jump. Good athlete. Very good athlete. And I think the third round is where you're going to be considering cornerback more, especially considering you have 2 third-round draft picks in this scenario. Andrew Phillips fits very well into that, range for the Bucs in the third round, and is a guy that could give you some starting ability right away if you need him to, but could also be a guy, if you want to put him behind Zion McCollum and Jamel Dean, can be maybe your cornerback 3, or maybe even your cornerback 4, considering Tavier Thomas is there as well, and just grow and develop and learn behind all of those guys. You would have really a cornerback room of Jamel Dean, of Zion McCollum, Tavier Thomas, Andrew Phillips, and you have Christian Izien rotating in at possibly slot cornerback as well. There'd be a lot of things to like there. So I think Andrew Phillips is definitely more of a realistic option at this point than Kamari Lasseter, just in terms of the Bucs having that second, third round draft pick, and really where the Bucs have drafted cornerbacks in the past. Third round has been a sweet spot for them. Next, you have Nate Wiggins coming in out of Clemson, 6'1", 173 pounds, a little bit lighter than what the Bucs like to have at their cornerback position. He's ranked number 20, so it is definitely possible he will not be there for the Bucs. A 4.28 40-yard dash, 1.59 10-yard split, 36-inch vertical jump, and a 10-foot 7-inch broad jump. I don't necessarily think Wiggins is going to be there for the Bucs, but he is a guy that would be a starting caliber outside cornerback right away, and a clear replacement for a Carlton Davis. One thing I do want to make a note of here, by the way, with Kamari Lasseter is, was he asked about Javon Bullard and Tyke Smith? to Georgia safeties that we talked about in a separate video. I don't know. It is something to consider there. But Nate Wiggins is a very good player. I'm not going to spend too much time on him just because I don't necessarily believe he's going to be there for the Bucs. Finally, the last player you have here is Chow Smith-Wade. I'm just going to call him Smith-Wade going forward. But coming in at 5'10", 184 pounds. Very interesting, the type of cornerbacks the Bucs have been looking to. Not necessarily big-bodied cornerbacks that we've expected the Bucs to be interested in years past in this defense, but 5'11", 5'11", 5'10". Really, the only guy was Nate Wiggins at 6'1", but even then, 173 pounds is pretty light for what the Bucs like to have. Seems like a lot of these guys seem to be more slot corners, but 5'10", 184 pounds coming out of Washington State. Let's see if he is on the big board here. He is, coming in at number 132. So that would be about a 4th-round draft pick. Maybe you consider him in the 3rd round at that point. Again, seems to fit more of a mold of a slot cornerback than anything. A 4.54 40-yard dash, 1.55 10-yard split, 34.5-inch vertical jump, 10-foot 5-inch broad jump, 7.05 3-cone drill, 4.32 20-yard shuttle, 18 reps on the bench press is not bad at all, in my opinion, for a cornerback, by the way, and gets comparisons to Asante Samuel Jr., so that's not bad at all. But a lot of these guys scream nickel cornerback, in my opinion, especially Lasseter, Phillips, and Smith-Wade. Nate Wiggins screams more of an outside cornerback just in terms of his overall height, but the weight definitely is more of a nickel cornerback type of guy. The Bucs seem like they're going to be interested in a slot guy coming into the upcoming draft. Now, they've got some options there. They did bring in Tavier Thomas, but I wouldn't count them out drafting a guy either. Can you fully trust Zion McCollum to be your number 2 corner? Can you fully trust Tavier Thomas and Christian Izien at the slot? Do you want to continue to invest in that cornerback room, especially after you traded away Carlton Davis? I think the answer would be yes, and these are some of the guys the Bucs seem to be somewhat interested in going forward. But let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about these players. I would love to hear them down in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.